Hello there and welcome to the Dreamy Ocean Channel. As the day's final echoes begin to gently fade, invite a profound stillness to settle within your being. Allow your shoulders to soften your brow to smooth and the gentle rhythmic inhale and exhale of your breath to become a steady, calming current, washing away any lingering tension from your mind and body. Feel yourself sinking deeper, releasing the day's weight as all worries begin to recede, like distant shorelines disappearing softly into the evening's embrace. Tonight, our journey leads us into the vast, shimmering expanse of our planet's oceans, venturing not to its bustling ports or sunlit, vibrant shallows, but rather to its most guarded, most pristine and utterly silent realms, the forbidden zones where humanity rarely treads, and nature's profound secrets remain exquisitely undisturbed. Breathe in this quietude and let your awareness gently drift, like a slow-moving cloud across an endless sky towards the hushed, deep blue mysteries that patiently await our peaceful exploration. Defining the ocean's forbidden realms. The ocean, an immense breathing entity, stretches across our spinning sphere. Its surface a shifting mirror reflecting the endless sky, its depths holding secrets older than memory. Yet even within this boundless expanse, humanity has sought to draw invisible lines to delineate realms of access and exclusion, carving out zones where the steady rhythm of human presence is hushed or entirely forbidden. These are not merely arbitrary boundaries etched onto maps. They are the profound expressions of our planet's intricate governance, our urgent need for preservation, and sometimes the silent assertions of national security. To truly comprehend these forbidden ocean zones, we must first understand the fundamental frameworks that allow nations to claim and control portions of this liquid world. For centuries, the concept of maritime jurisdiction was a fluid, often contested notion, with nations typically asserting control only as far as a cannonball could reach from their shores, a fleeting, tangible measure of power that faded quickly into the open sea. But as global navigation expanded and the value of oceanic resources became increasingly apparent, a more unified and intricate system was desperately needed to prevent endless conflict and chaos upon the waves. This intricate architecture began to solidify in the mid-20th century, culminating in the monumental United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, known simply as UNCLOS. This agreement, a testament to decades of patient negotiation and compromise, effectively mapped out the invisible contours of sovereignty beneath the waves, defining the very essence of what constitutes a nation's reach into the deep. It is a document that with quiet authority dictates where fishing vessels may cast their nets, where research submarines may explore, and crucially, where human presence must yield to a deeper, more profound form of restriction. Imagine, if you will, standing at the very edge of a continent, the gentle lapping of waves at your feet, the horizon, a distant, shimmering promise. From this precise low water mark, an imaginary baseline stretches along the coast, meticulously tracing every curve and inlet. This baseline is the genesis, the fundamental starting point from which all maritime zones are measured, extending outward into the vast blue unknown. Within the embrace of this baseline and the land itself lie what are known as internal waters, the sheltered harbours, the tranquil bays, the winding estuaries. Here, a nation's sovereignty is absolute, as complete and unwavering as its dominion over its dry land. Every vessel entering these areas is subject to the nation's laws, a silent understanding of absolute control. Moving beyond this immediate embrace, the first layer of oceanic dominion unfolds the territorial sea. This extends outward from the baseline for a distance of 12 nautical miles, an invisible ribbon of water-air, and seabed where the coastal state exercises full sovereignty. Picture a vast, submerged extension of the land itself, where the laws of the nation ripple out into the liquid realm. Within this 12-mile band, a nation has the unequivocal right to manage all activities from fishing and resource extraction to the passage of foreign vessels, though the right of innocent passage for ships that pose no threat is generally respected. This territorial sea is the most immediate expression of a nation's claim, a watchful sentinel guarding its shores, its interests, and its immediate aquatic environment. Beyond the territorial sea lies the contiguous zone a further 12 nautical miles, stretching to 24 nautical miles from the baseline. This area acts as a protective buffer, a vital space where a coastal state can enforce its customs, fiscal immigration, and sanitary laws. It is a zone of prevention designed to intercept violations that might occur within its territorial sea or land territory, stopping them before they fully manifest. Think of it as a wider, softer boundary where a nation extends its administrative reach, ensuring the integrity of its closer, more sovereign waters. Then the ocean truly begins to unfurl its vastness, leading us into the exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. This monumental expanse reaches out to 200 nautical miles from the baseline, transforming an enormous segment of the ocean into a realm of sovereign rights, primarily focused on the exploration and exploitation of natural resources. Within its EEZ, a coastal state has exclusive rights to all living resources such as fish, and all non-living resources like oil, natural gas, and minerals found in the seabed and subsoil. It also holds jurisdiction over scientific research and the establishment of artificial islands or structures. Imagine this as a colossal submerged garden where a nation cultivates and harvests the bounty of the deep, a silent, unseen landscape, teeming with potential, its resources carefully managed for the benefit of its people. Yet within this EEZ, other nations still retain the freedom of navigation and overflight, ensuring that the critical arteries of global commerce remain open. Finally, beyond the 200 nautical miles of the EEZ lies the high seas, a truly global commons and area not subject to the sovereignty of any single nation. Here, the traditional freedoms of the sea prevail: freedom of navigation, overflight, fishing, scientific research, and the laying of submarine cables and pipelines. The high seas represent the shared heritage of humankind, a vast, untamed wilderness governed by international law and cooperation. It is within these intricately defined layers of maritime jurisdiction that the concept of forbidden ocean zones truly takes root and blossoms into its various forms. These restrictions are not always about absolute exclusion, but often about specific prohibitions carefully designed to serve a distinct purpose. One of the most potent and historically significant categories of forbidden zones arises from the imperative of national security. These are the military exclusion zones, the testing ranges, the areas where the silent, profound power of defense is exercised, often far from prying eyes. Here, the ocean becomes a silent arena for naval exercises for the testing of advanced weaponry, or for the discreet movement of submarines beneath the surface. Entry into these zones is often strictly prohibited, enforced by the stark warnings of international navigation charts and the watchful presence of naval patrols. Imagine the deep, dark water here, cradling secrets of strategic importance, where the hum of a torpedo or the silent glide of a stealth vessel could be the only disturbance to the perpetual quiet. These zones are often dynamic, shifting with the needs of national defense, sometimes temporary, sometimes permanent, always demanding respect for their grave purpose. Then there are the zones born not of conflict, but of a profound desire for preservation. The marine protected areas, the conservation zones, the sanctuaries of silence dedicated to safeguarding the delicate balance of life beneath the waves. These areas are established to protect critical habitats, preserve endangered species, or allow fragile ecosystems to recover from human impact. They can range from small, highly restricted no-take zones, where even a single fishing line is forbidden, to vast multi-use areas, with varying levels of protection. Picture a vibrant coral reef, its intricate architecture slowly rebuilding, or a pristine hydrothermal vent community, its unique life forms thriving undisturbed, shielded from the relentless pressures of human activity. Here, the silence is not one of military secrecy, but of profound ecological reverence, a commitment to allowing nature to flourish on its own terms, a quiet promise to future generations. Scientific research also carves out its own forbidden spaces. Certain ocean zones are designated as long-term study sites, where access is tightly controlled to maintain pristine conditions for observation and experimentation. These are the deep-sea laboratories, the underwater observatories where scientists meticulously track changes in ocean chemistry, monitor the movements of deep-sea creatures, or study the long-term impacts of climate change, all without the confounding variables introduced by uncontrolled human interference. The quiet here is that of intense focus, the patient observation of natural processes unfolding over vast stretches of time, each data point a whisper from the deep. Beyond these more formal designations, some areas become de facto forbidden zones due to their inherent dangers or extreme inaccessibility. Active volcanic regions beneath the sea, areas prone to colossal rogue waves, or stretches of ocean with notoriously treacherous currents, can render human presence precarious if not impossible. While not legally restricted by human decree, nature itself imposes a formidable barrier reminding us of the ocean's raw, untamed power. As we gently drift into the deeper understanding of these forbidden realms, let us acknowledge the complex interplay of human endeavor and the ocean's immutable nature. These zones, whether born of law, of protection, or of peril, are all quiet testimonies to the profound influence of the liquid world upon our consciousness. They beckon us to consider not just what lies within their boundaries, but what their very existence tells us about our place in the grand, silent, breathing cosmos of the deep. The journey into their mysteries has only just begun, a slow descent into the heart of the unseen. The oceanic pole of inaccessibility. From the intricate tapestry of invisible lines that define our maritime world, we now journey to a place so profoundly remote, so utterly isolated that it stands as a silent testament to the ocean's vast, uninhabited power. This is Point Nemo, the oceanic pole of inaccessibility, a singular location upon our planet's surface that is further from any landmass than any other point on Earth. Its very name derived from the Latin for no one. Whispers of its profound emptiness, a deep liquid silence that is almost unimaginable. To truly grasp the essence of Point Nemo, one must first visualize its coordinates: approximately 48 degrees, 52.6 minutes, south latitude, and 123 degrees, 6 minutes west longitude. These numbers, when translated onto the curving canvas of our globe, place it squarely within the South Pacific Ocean, an immense blue wilderness that stretches across nearly 1/3 of our world's surface. It lies almost precisely equidistant from 3 distant land masses, each a continent away, each a faint echo in the profound quietude that surrounds this oceanic heart of nowhere. To the north, the Pitcairn Islands with their tiny, isolated communities. To the northeast, the majestic snow-capped peaks of Maher Island, part of Antarctica. And to the southeast, the rugged, wind-swept shores of Motu Nui, an islet near Easter Island. Each of these points of land is separated from Point Nemo by a staggering distance exceeding 2,600 kilometers, a journey that would take days, even weeks, for the fastest vessels pushing through the relentless, undulating expanse of the open sea. This profound isolation is not a mere geographical curiosity. It is the defining characteristic of Point Nemo, shaping its very environment and purpose. The remoteness extends not only to land, but also to human presence. When astronauts aboard the International Space Station, orbiting some 400 kilometers above the Earth's surface, pass overhead, they are in fact closer to the waters of Point Nemo than any other human being on the planet's surface. This simple, astonishing fact underscores the unparalleled solitude of this oceanic realm, a watery void where the only constant companions are the ceaseless motion of the waves and the boundless dome of the sky. The precise location of Point Nemo was not discovered by intrepid explorers or deep-sea expeditions, but rather through the quiet, meticulous calculations of a Croatian-Canadian survey engineer named Hrvoje Lukatila in 1992. Using specialized geodetic computer programs, he calculated the exact coordinates that maximize the distance to all surrounding landmasses. It was a revelation born of mathematics, not direct observation, highlighting how even in our modern age, the vastness of the ocean still holds secrets that can only be unveiled through abstract thought and computational power. The discovery of Point Nemo was a conceptual demarcation, drawing an invisible circle around a point that had always existed, yet remained largely unacknowledged in its profound statistical loneliness. The environment surrounding Point Nemo is as unique as its isolation. It resides within the heart of the South Pacific Gyre, a colossal, slow-motion vortex of ocean currents that perpetually rotates in a vast, clockwise motion. Imagine an enormous liquid desert where the very currents that sustain life elsewhere act as a barrier sealing off this central region from the nutrient-rich waters that well up from the deep or flow in from coastal areas. This gyre, a silent, swirling titan, effectively traps the surface waters within its embrace, preventing the influx of fresh, life-giving nutrients. The consequence of this oceanic isolation is a profound biological barrenness in the surface waters. The lack of upwelling, the absence of nutrient exchange from the surrounding more fertile waters, creates an environment where photosynthetic life, the very foundation of the marine food web, struggles to thrive. Phytoplankton, the microscopic plants that drift through the sunlit zone, are remarkably sparse here. With little phytoplankton to consume zooplankton, the tiny animals that graze upon them are also few. This scarcity ripples upward through the food chain, resulting in an ocean surface that, while crystal clear and mesmerizingly blue, is largely devoid of the vibrant, teeming life found in other parts of the world's oceans. A passing ship might encounter only a handful of seabirds, perhaps a distant whale, but the overwhelming impression would be one of profound, almost unsettling emptiness, a silent testament to the power of nutrient scarcity. Yet beneath this relatively barren surface, the ocean floor in the vicinity of Point Nemo plunges to depths exceeding 4,000 meters, descending into the abyssal plain. Here, in the perpetual twilight and crushing pressure, life adapts to extreme conditions. While even the deep-sea benthos bottom-dwelling organisms are sparse compared to more productive areas, the absence of surface life means that any organic matter that does drift down from above or from the distant, more productive fringes of the gyre, becomes a precious commodity. Specialized scavengers, unique bacteria, and other deep-sea creatures, often small and slow-moving, persist in this realm. Their existence a testament to life's extraordinary ability to find a foothold even in the most challenging environments. However, the overall picture remains one of profound, deep-seated quietude, a world where the pulse of life beats at an almost imperceptible rhythm. It is this very remoteness, this profound biological emptiness, and the minimal risk to shipping lanes or human populations that has given Point Nemo a truly unique and rather poetic purpose. It serves as the designated spacecraft graveyard for humanity's discarded vessels from beyond our atmosphere. When satellites, cargo resupply vehicles, or even entire space stations like the historic Mir reach the end of their operational lives, they must be safely disposed of. Uncontrolled re-entry poses a risk of debris falling onto inhabited areas. Therefore, a precise, controlled, de-orbiting maneuver is often performed, guiding these colossal pieces of human engineering towards a final, watery resting place in the deepest, most uninhabited part of the ocean. Imagine the silent, fiery descent of these magnificent machines. Having soared among the stars, having circled our planet countless times, they are now deliberately steered back towards their terrestrial origin. As they plunge through the upper atmosphere, friction ignites their outer shells, transforming them into fleeting, man-made meteors, streaking across the night sky in a final, spectacular blaze. What survives this incandescent journey, the denser components and fragments that resist complete incineration, then continues its silent plummet through the atmosphere, eventually piercing the surface of the vast, indifferent ocean. They sink slowly, inexorably through miles of water down into the eternal darkness of the abyssal plain to rest beside the scattered remains of other spacefaring relics. Here on the deep seabed of Point Nemo lie the silent remnants of humanity's reach into the cosmos. Components of the International Space Station various cargo spacecraft, like the European Space Agency's Automated Transfer Vehicle, ATV, and the Japanese H2. Transfer Vehicle, HTV, and numerous satellites have all found their ultimate slumber in this deep, quiet embrace. It is a place where the cutting edge of human technology, having served its purpose, returns to the most elemental depths of our planet, a profound metaphor for cycles of creation and return. The ocean in its immense capacity becomes the ultimate receptacle, a keeper of these cosmic secrets, a silent museum of our space age. While Point Nemo's primary purpose is now well established, its extreme isolation has, in the past, lent itself to scientific curiosities and even a touch of mystery. In 1997, hydrophones deployed by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, detected an ultra-low frequency sound emanating from the vicinity of Point Nemo, a sound so powerful it was dubbed the bloop. For a time, its origin was unknown, fueling speculation about colossal, undiscovered creatures dwelling in the deepest trenches. However, subsequent research and analysis leveraging advanced seismic and acoustic data have largely concluded that the bloop was most likely the sound of ice quakes, the immense fracturing of icebergs in Antarctica amplified and carried across thousands of miles of ocean by the deep sound channels. Even so, for a brief period, the mystery of the bloop only deepened the allure and enigmatic quality of this already isolated oceanic realm, reminding us that even in the most remote corners, the ocean can still surprise us with its power and its profound, often misunderstood voices. Point Nemo therefore stands as a forbidden zone, not necessarily by explicit human prohibition, but by its very nature and its designated function. Its remoteness discourages casual entry. Its biological scarcity limits human interest in resource extraction, and its role as a spacecraft graveyard demands respect for its purpose. It is a place defined by absence of land, absence of significant life, absence of human presence, and absence of the usual clamor and activity that characterizes so much of our world. It is a realm of ultimate quiet, a deep, resonant silence that invites contemplation, a liquid void where the echoes of human ambition from space return to rest, gently cradled by the profound, unending peace of the deepest, most solitary ocean. Our journey now leads us from this natural isolation to zones where human decree has imposed a different kind of silence, a silence born of strategic necessity and national defense. Military exclusion zones and their hidden legacies. Where the ocean's vastness naturally creates realms of profound, unadulterated solitude, as we found in the remote embrace of Point Nemo, there are other silent spaces born not of nature's design, but of humanity's strategic hand. These are the military exclusion zones, areas defined by an invisible, yet utterly firm barrier of national decree, where the quietude is not merely a consequence of distance, but a deliberate imposition, a silence enforced by the silent, watchful power of nations. They are the ocean's hidden battlegrounds, its training grounds, its testing grounds, places where the deep blue water holds secrets of defense deterrence, and the complex, often unseen operations of global security. The fundamental purpose of these zones is to safeguard national interests, to provide secure environments for the development and deployment of defense capabilities, and to allow for the rigorous training of naval forces away from the complexities and risks of civilian maritime traffic. Imagine a vast, liquid arena meticulously marked on classified charts, where the intricate ballet of modern warfare can be rehearsed, where the formidable power of advanced weaponry can be tested, and where the strategic movements of submarines can unfold in absolute, uncompromised secrecy. These zones are the silent assertion of a nation's strength, a deep breath taken before any potential unforeseen conflict. These military exclusion zones manifest in various forms, each with its own specific set of prohibitions and purposes. There are the permanent naval firing ranges, vast stretches of sea where live ammunition, missiles and torpedoes are routinely deployed. Here, the serene surface of the ocean can suddenly be shattered by the explosive impact of ordnance, the air rent by the roar of a missile launch, or the deep water momentarily agitated by the powerful, percussive shockwave of an underwater detonation. Entry into such areas is not merely discouraged, it is strictly forbidden, as the very act of trespass could place a vessel or a life in immediate catastrophic peril. The ocean here becomes a dangerous, unpredictable canvas for the raw forces of destruction, a realm where caution is not just advised, but absolutely paramount. Then there are the submarine operating areas, often plunging into the profound abyssal depths, where the silent hunters of the deep can conduct their intricate maneuvers, their acoustic tests and their deep diving exercises far from any prying eyes or ears. In these zones, the ocean's immense volume provides a natural cloak of invisibility, allowing these sophisticated vessels to practice their stealth, their navigation, and their strategic positioning in an environment that mimics the vast, challenging conditions of potential real-world operations. The only sounds might be the low, almost imperceptible hum of their advanced propulsion systems, or the distant rhythmic ping of active sonar mapping the unseen contours of the deep. For any civilian vessel to inadvertently enter such an area would not only risk collision with a submerged behemoth, but also compromise the sensitive, highly classified nature of these operations, making these waters truly forbidden, guarded by the silent watchfulness of national security. Beyond these more specialized zones, there are also expansive training areas where entire fleets might gather for large-scale naval exercises, simulating complex engagements, practicing coordinated movements, and refining their tactical responses. These areas, often temporary in nature, are nonetheless subject to stringent access restrictions for the duration of the exercises. Imagine hundreds of ships, their radar sweeping the horizon, their communication systems alive with encrypted messages, their helicopters lifting from flight decks, all moving in a synchronized, powerful display of naval might. The ocean here is transformed into a dynamic, fluid chessboard, where strategy and coordination are paramount, and the presence of any unauthorized vessel would be an unacceptable disruption to the intricate choreography of preparedness. Historically, some of the most profound and environmentally impactful military exclusion zones were the nuclear weapons testing sites. In the mid-20th century, remote atolls and vast stretches of the Pacific Ocean became ground zero for atomic and thermonuclear detonations, both atmospheric and underwater. Places like Bikini Atoll and Enewetak Atoll, once pristine paradises, were irrevocably altered, transformed into sites of immense destructive power. The flash of light from these tests, brighter than 1,000 suns, would momentarily illuminate the deep ocean floor, followed by colossal shockwaves that rippled through the water, distorting the very fabric of the sea. The mushroom clouds would ascend into the stratosphere, carrying radioactive isotopes high into the atmosphere, which would then slowly drift back down, contaminating the ocean, the land, and the life within it for generations. These sites remain, even decades later, forbidden zones not just by military decree, but by the lingering, invisible threat of residual radiation, a silent, enduring testament to humanity's most powerful and destructive creations. The enforcement of these military exclusion zones relies on a combination of international maritime law, continuous surveillance, and clear communication. Navigational charts meticulously delineate these restricted areas, often with stark warnings. Notices to mariners are regularly issued, informing the global shipping community of temporary closures or changes in active zones. Radar systems, satellite imagery, and naval patrols constantly monitor these waters, ensuring that unauthorized vessels do not inadvertently or intentionally stray into harm's way. The consequences of violating these restrictions can range from immediate interception and escort out of the area to severe legal penalties, reflecting the critical importance these zones hold for national defense. The ocean in these areas becomes a silent sentinel, its vastness not an invitation to explore, but a demand for respect and adherence to these crucial, invisible boundaries. The legacy of these zones, however, extends far beyond their immediate strategic purpose, leaving a lasting, often hidden impact on the marine environment. One of the most pervasive and dangerous legacies is the presence of unexploded ordnance, or UXO, scattered across vast swathes of the seabed within former and even active firing ranges. Shells, bombs, torpedoes, and missiles, having failed to detonate upon impact, lie dormant on the ocean floor, slowly corroding their chemical contents, potentially leaching into the surrounding water. These silent, deadly relics pose a persistent threat not only to any future human activity in these areas such as fishing or dredging, but also to the delicate ecosystems that slowly colonize their metallic surfaces. Imagine the crushing weight of the deep ocean slowly, inexorably working upon these metallic husks, releasing their toxic burden into the water, a slow, silent poisoning that can persist for centuries. The very activities conducted within these zones also generate significant environmental concerns. The profound percussive noise of underwater explosions, while necessary for weapons testing, can have devastating effects on marine life, particularly on marine mammals such as whales and dolphins who rely on sound for navigation, communication, and hunting. The sudden, intense shock waves can cause physical trauma, disrupt their delicate auditory systems, and force them to abandon critical feeding or breeding grounds, sometimes leading to strandings or mortality. Similarly, the use of powerful active sonar, while vital for submarine detection, emits intense sound waves that can disorient and distress marine animals, further contributing to the auditory chaos in these strategically important waters. Furthermore, the materials used in munitions, from heavy metals to specialized propellants, can introduce chemical contaminants into the marine environment. Over time, as these materials break down, they can accumulate in sediments and enter the food chain, potentially impacting the health and reproductive success of marine organisms. The ocean in these areas bears the subtle, often unseen scars of human innovation in the realm of defense, a silent, slow alteration of its pristine chemistry. Yet paradoxically, the very danger and restricted access of military exclusion zones can, in certain circumstances, lead to an unexpected form of environmental preservation. Because these areas are largely inaccessible to civilian activities like commercial fishing, shipping, and coastal development, they can inadvertently become de facto marine sanctuaries. Within their boundaries, away from the constant pressures of human exploitation, marine ecosystems can sometimes recover and flourish, creating pockets of biodiversity that are more robust than in heavily trafficked or fished waters. Imagine a vibrant coral reef thriving undisturbed, or a diverse fish population growing to maturity without the constant threat of nets and lines, simply because the human danger of entering the zone outweighs the desire for its resources. This unintended consequence highlights the complex, often contradictory relationship between human intervention and the natural world, where even the tools of defense can, through their very nature, offer a strange kind of protection. The true mystery of military exclusion zones often lies in their inherent secrecy. Much of what transpires within their invisible perimeters remains classified, known only to those with the highest levels of clearance. This deliberate opaqueness fuels speculation and wonder, adding another layer to the ocean's enigmatic character. What advanced technologies are being developed? What strategic maneuvers are being perfected? What silent, unseen forces are at play beneath the waves? These questions linger whispered by the vast, indifferent ocean itself, adding to the profound, almost hypnotic allure of these forbidden realms. The echoes of power reverberate through these waters, a deep, resonant hum of strategic importance and national will. They are a testament to humanity's enduring need for security, a reflection of the geopolitical landscape etched onto the very surface and depths of our planet's oceans. As we drift further into the silent mysteries of these restricted waters, we acknowledge the profound weight of these human-made boundaries, their tangible dangers, and their enduring, often unseen legacies upon the deep blue heart of our world. We now turn our attention to another category of forbidden zones, those born not of power or conflict, but of a profound, gentle commitment to the preservation of life itself. Marine protected areas and conservation's deepest pledges, from the stark strategic silence of military zones where the ocean holds secrets of national defense, we now drift towards a different kind of quietude, one born not of human power, but of a profound, gentle commitment to life itself. These are the sanctuaries of silence, the marine protected areas, or MPAs, where humanity has made a solemn pledge to safeguard the ocean's most vulnerable treasures, allowing nature to breathe, to heal, and to flourish in its own intricate, unhurried rhythm. Here, the forbidden aspect is not a threat of conflict, but a gentle yet firm prohibition against activities that would disturb the delicate balance of life beneath the waves. The concept of marine protected areas emerged from a growing understanding of the immense pressures threatening our planet's aquatic ecosystems. For centuries, the ocean was perceived as an inexhaustible larder, its resources boundless, its capacity to absorb human impact limitless. But as fishing technologies advanced, as pollution intensified, and as the subtle, insidious effects of climate change began to ripple through the water, the vibrant health of the ocean began to show signs of profound distress. Coral reefs, once teeming with kaleidoscopic life, started to bleach and crumble. Fish populations, once abundant, dwindled to alarming lows, and the intricate, interconnected webs of marine biodiversity built over eons began to fray at an alarming, accelerating pace. In response to this deepening crisis, the idea of setting aside specific ocean areas, much like national parks on land, gained quiet momentum. These areas are designated for the long-term conservation of marine biodiversity, ecosystem services, and cultural heritage. They are places where the steady, relentless drumbeat of human extraction and disturbance is softened or entirely silenced, allowing the natural processes of the ocean to reclaim their ancient dominance. Imagine a vast, submerged garden where the most delicate and vital parts are carefully tended, shielded from the harsh winds of human impact, given the space and time to thrive. The spectrum of marine protected areas is as diverse and varied as the ocean itself, ranging from vast remote expanses of open ocean to tiny critical coastal havens. At one end of this spectrum are the no-take zones, the most strictly protected realms, sometimes referred to as fully protected areas. Within these hallowed waters, every form of extractive activity is unequivocally forbidden. No fishing net may sweep through these currents, no dredge may scour the seabed, no harpoon may pierce the water. Even the collection of a single shell or the removal of a small fallen piece of coral is often prohibited. Here, the silence is profound, a deep, restorative quiet where the natural world can unfold without the constant, intrusive presence of human hands. Within these untouched sanctuaries, the transformation is often remarkable. Life, given the chance, surges back with vibrant intensity. Schools of iridescent fish, their scales catching the filtered sunlight, find refuge growing to their full, magnificent size, unthreatened by the silent sweep of nets. Lobsters and crabs, once scarce in surrounding waters, emerge from their rocky crevices, their numbers swelling. Corals, those slow-growing, intricate architects of the deep, begin to rebuild their stony cities, their vibrant hues returning as the water clarity improves and sediment disturbance ceases. The very fabric of the ecosystem strengthens, becoming more resilient, more robust, a living testament to the ocean's remarkable capacity for recovery when given space and peace. These zones act as vital nurseries, as safe havens where species can reproduce and mature, sending out a steady stream of larvae and juvenile fish to replenish the surrounding, less protected waters, a phenomenon known as the spillover effect. A quiet, generous bounty flowing from the heart of protection. Beyond these strictest no-take zones lie multi-use MPAs, which allow for a blend of conservation and carefully managed sustainable human activities. Here, the restrictions are more nuanced, designed to permit certain traditional or low-impact uses such as limited recreational diving, educational tourism, or indigenous fishing practices, while still safeguarding the core ecological values of the area. Imagine a vast, shimmering expanse where small, quiet boats might glide across the surface, their occupants observing the rich marine life, but where industrial fishing vessels are strictly excluded. The challenge here lies in striking a delicate balance, ensuring that permitted activities do not inadvertently undermine the primary conservation goals, requiring constant vigilance and adaptive management like a patient gardener tending to a complex living landscape. The scientific benefits of marine protected areas are immense and multifaceted. They serve as living laboratories, providing invaluable baseline data for understanding natural marine ecosystems in the absence of human exploitation. Scientists can observe how populations fluctuate naturally, how species interact without external pressures, and how ecosystems respond to broader environmental changes such as ocean warming or acidification in a relatively undisturbed setting. These protected realms become critical reference points, allowing researchers to differentiate between natural variability and human-induced impacts in adjacent, unprotected areas. The quiet hum of scientific inquiry, the gentle deployment of monitoring equipment, becomes another layer of the silence within these zones, a dedicated pursuit of knowledge for the ocean's future. Some MPAs are established to protect specific globally significant habitats such as the ancient towering kelp forests that sway like submerged cathedrals in temperate waters, or the vibrant kaleidoscopic coral reefs that teem with life in tropical seas. Others focus on safeguarding critical life cycle stages of migratory species, protecting the remote breeding grounds of whales, the nesting beaches, and offshore foraging areas of sea turtles, or the crucial spawning aggregations of commercially important fish species. Picture a vast remote seamount rising from the abyssal plain, its slopes covered in delicate, slow-growing deep-sea corals, providing a unique habitat for a myriad of specialized creatures, all shielded from the destructive drag of deep-sea trawlers. Or imagine a secluded bay where green sea turtles return generation after generation to lay their precious eggs, their ancient ritual, protected from disturbance. The challenges in establishing and effectively managing marine protected areas are considerable, reflecting the immense scale and dynamic nature of the ocean itself. Defining the precise boundaries of an MPA, especially in vast offshore regions, requires meticulous scientific mapping and careful legal drafting. Once established, the sheer size of many MPAs makes monitoring and enforcement a monumental task. Illegal fishing, known as poaching, remains a persistent threat, with rogue vessels sometimes venturing into protected waters under the cloak of darkness, or in remote areas where surveillance is sparse. The vastness of the ocean, however, presents an enduring challenge for invisible boundaries, are difficult to patrol, and the temptation of illicit harvest can sometimes outweigh the distant threat of enforcement, requiring constant vigilance, like a patient, tireless guardian of the deep. Furthermore, the long-term success of MPAs often hinges on securing adequate funding for ongoing management research and enforcement, as well as fostering strong political will and sustained public support. Engaging local communities, particularly those whose livelihoods are directly connected to marine resources, is crucial. Their understanding, cooperation, and participation are essential for the effective stewardship of these protected zones, transforming them from mere lines on a map into living, breathing commitments to conservation. Globally, the network of marine protected areas continues to expand, a testament to humanity's growing recognition of the ocean's intrinsic value and its vital role in sustaining all life on Earth. From the colossal Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, one of the largest protected areas in the world, shielding ancient coral reefs and endangered monk seals, to the remote icy expanse of the Ross Sea. MPA in Antarctica, safeguarding one of the planet's last pristine marine ecosystems. These sanctuaries of silence are growing in number and in scope. Each new designation is a quiet pledge, a deliberate act of restraint allowing the ocean to mend its wounds and to continue its ceaseless, life-giving work. The silence within these marine protected areas is not an empty void, but rather a profound resonant quiet filled with the subtle hum of thriving life. It is the sound of water gently lapping against undisturbed shores, the soft rustle of kelp fronds in a gentle current, the distant muffled clicks and whistles of unseen marine creatures communicating in their watery world. It is the silence of absence, the absence of destructive human activity, allowing the natural world to speak in its own ancient, unhurried tongue. Here, the ocean reminds us of its enduring power, its exquisite beauty, and its profound need for our careful, respectful guardianship. As we gently explore these realms of deliberate protection, we are invited to listen to the quiet promise they hold for the future of our blue planet, a soothing whisper from the deep. Our journey now takes us to another facet of forbidden ocean zones, those where the Earth itself holds sway, revealing its deep scars and future frontiers. Areas reserved for resource extraction and future frontiers. From the tranquil, deliberate silences of marine protected areas where the ocean is cradled and nurtured, our journey now takes a different turn, plunging into realms where the deep blue holds another kind of value, a profound geological wealth that beckons humanity to extract its hidden treasures. These are the ocean's deepest scars areas, reserved not for conservation, but for the intense focused enterprise of resource extraction, forging a new category of forbidden zones. Here, access is restricted not to protect life from human touch, but to protect human operations from external interference, transforming vast stretches of seabed and subseabed into industrial frontiers, silent beneath the ceaseless motion of the waves. For generations, humanity has looked to the ocean for sustenance, but also for power, for the very fuels that drive our modern world. The vast, unseen reservoirs of oil and natural gas, trapped within ancient rock formations beneath the seabed, represent a colossal energy source. The pursuit of these hydrocarbons has led to the establishment of extensive offshore drilling operations, creating zones of intense industrial activity far from shore. Imagine a colossal, intricate city floating on the surface of the restless sea, its towering derricks reaching skyward, its complex network of pipes and machinery, delving miles into the Earth's crust. These are the offshore oil and gas platforms, lonely sentinels in the vastness, their presence demanding a wide berth from all unauthorized vessels. The process begins with meticulous seismic surveys where specialized ships deploy sound sources and hydrophones, sending acoustic waves deep into the seabed. These waves bounce off different geological layers, returning echoes that paint a detailed, three-dimensional picture of the subsurface, revealing the ancient buried structures that might cradle precious hydrocarbon deposits. Once a promising site is identified, the colossal platforms begin to take shape. These structures can be fixed to the seabed in shallower waters, or they can be semi-submersible or drill ships dynamically positioned over ultra-deep water locations, sometimes in depths exceeding 3,000 meters. Around each of these platforms, a legally mandated safety zone is established, typically a 500-meter radius, strictly prohibiting entry by any other vessel. This exclusion is paramount, designed to prevent collisions, protect sensitive equipment, and ensure the safety of the hundreds of workers who live and toil in these isolated industrial outposts. The drilling itself is a slow, painstaking descent, a precise penetration through miles of rock sediment, and sometimes through layers of ancient salt, until the drill bit reaches the hydrocarbon-bearing formations. This oil and gas formed over millions of years from the compressed remains of microscopic marine organisms is then brought to the surface through a complex system of risers and pipelines, eventually making its way to processing facilities on land. The hum of machinery, the rhythmic clang of metal, the constant vigilance of human operators. These are the sounds of this particular forbidden zone, a place where the deep ocean's quiet is pierced by the focused, unyielding pursuit of energy. However, the extraction of these deep-sea riches carries profound environmental risks, leaving indelible scars on the marine landscape. The most dramatic and visible are catastrophic oil spills, where millions of barrels of crude oil can erupt from a damaged well spreading across the ocean surface in a vast, suffocating slick. Such events, though rare, can devastate marine ecosystems, coating seabirds in viscous blackness, poisoning fish, and contaminating sensitive coastal habitats for decades. Even routine operations without major incidents can lead to chronic low-level pollution from drilling fluids-produced water, and the discharge of various chemicals subtly altering the ocean's delicate chemistry. The sheer physical presence of the platforms themselves, their associated pipelines, and the constant noise from their operations can also disrupt marine life, altering migration patterns and affecting the behavior of sensitive species, creating a persistent low-frequency hum that displaces the natural quiet. Beyond the established realms of oil and gas, humanity's gaze is now turning to an even deeper, more challenging frontier: the vast mineral-rich abyssal plains and seamounts of the deep ocean. Here, geological processes unfolding over millions of years have concentrated valuable metals into fascinating formations, creating what some consider to be the next great treasure trove of our planet. The demand for these minerals, particularly for rare earth elements copper, nickel, cobalt, and manganese, is skyrocketing, driven by the insatiable appetite for electric vehicles, renewable energy technologies, and advanced electronics. And so the concept of deep-sea mining is slowly taking shape, poised to open up entirely new categories of forbidden zones. Imagine the crushing darkness of the abyssal plain, miles beneath the sunlit surface where the pressure is immense and the temperatures are near freezing. Here, across vast flat expanses, lie polymetallic nodules, small potato-sized concretions rich in manganese, nickel, copper, and cobalt scattered across the soft sediment like ancient forgotten jewels. These nodules grow at an incredibly slow pace, perhaps a few millimeters over a million years, a testament to the deep time processes that shape our planet. Then there are the hydrothermal vents, volcanic fissures in the seabed where superheated, mineral-rich fluids erupt from the Earth's crust. Around these vents, towering chimney-like structures form, composed of polymetallic sulfides, dense deposits packed with copper, zinc, gold, and silver. These are the oases of the deep, teeming with unique chemosynthetic lifeforms that thrive independently of sunlight, forming some of the most alien and fragile ecosystems on Earth. And finally, on the flanks of submerged seamounts and ridges, cobalt-rich crusts slowly accrete, forming thin metallic layers on exposed rock surfaces, offering another potential source of valuable minerals. The forbidden aspect of deep-sea mining zones arises from the granting of exclusive exploration and exploitation licenses by the International Seabed Authority, ISA, an intergovernmental body established under UNCLOS. The ISA governs the seabed and subsoil beyond national jurisdiction, designating these areas as the common heritage of mankind. However, it issues contracts to states and private entities, granting them the sole right to explore specific blocks of the deep seabed for minerals. Should commercial mining proceed, these contract areas would become de facto exclusion zones where only the licensed operator would have access to the seabed, and other activities, especially those that might interfere with mining operations, would be strictly prohibited. These zones would be defined by precise coordinates, invisible squares of seabed granted for intense industrial activity. The proposed technologies for deep-sea mining are still in development, but they generally involve colossal seafloor collection vehicles resembling enormous tractors or vacuum cleaners designed to systematically traverse the seabed, scooping up nodules or grinding polymetallic sulfides from vent sites. The collected material would then be pumped as a slurry through a riser pipe sometimes miles long up to a surface support vessel. From there, it would be processed on board or transported to shore. Imagine these immense machines moving slowly and deliberately in the eternal darkness, their powerful lights piercing the black, their mechanical arms tearing at the ancient seabed. An alien landscape transformed by humanity's relentless pursuit of resources. The environmental implications of deep-sea mining are profound and largely unknown, raising deep concerns among scientists and conservationists. The physical act of stripping the seabed would cause irreversible habitat destruction, obliterating unique, slow-growing deep-sea ecosystems that have taken millennia to form. The sediment plumes generated by the collection vehicles would spread for miles, smothering filter-feeding organisms, reducing water clarity, and potentially releasing toxic heavy metals into the water column. The noise and light pollution from the mining machinery operating in environments accustomed to absolute silence and darkness could severely disrupt the behavior and physiology of deep-sea creatures, many of which are highly sensitive to such disturbances. Furthermore, the recovery rates of these deep-sea ecosystems are incredibly slow, spanning hundreds to thousands of years, meaning that any damage inflicted could be essentially permanent on human timescales. Scientists believe that the unique biodiversity of the deep sea, much of which remains undiscovered, is particularly vulnerable. Many species are endemic to specific seamounts or vent systems, meaning they exist nowhere else on Earth. The destruction of even a small area could lead to the extinction of entire species before they are even known to science, a silent, irreversible loss in the planet's vast biological library. The deep ocean in these potential mining zones would bear the deepest, most permanent scars, a stark contrast to the natural silences we have explored. Beyond these vast mineral frontiers, other forms of resource extraction also lead to the creation of specific, often temporary, exclusion zones. Certain fisheries, for example, may be subject to seasonal closures or gear restrictions in particular areas to allow fish stocks to recover or to protect critical spawning grounds. While the ocean itself isn't entirely forbidden in these cases, specific extractive activities are strictly prohibited, transforming these areas into temporary sanctuaries for particular species. These are areas where the human hand is momentarily stayed, allowing the natural rhythms of life to reassert themselves, a gentle, self-imposed silence in the pursuit of long-term sustainability. Even the exploration of new energy sources such as methane hydrates, ice-like compounds containing methane trapped in vast quantities beneath the seabed, could lead to new zones of restricted access. While still largely experimental, the technology to extract these potential fuels could create localized exclusion zones for drilling and processing, adding another layer to the intricate evolving map of oceanic resource frontiers. These areas reserved for resource extraction, whether for oil, gas, or deep-sea minerals, represent a potent tension between humanity's growing needs and the ocean's delicate equilibrium. They are forbidden zones by design, carved out to facilitate industrial endeavors, demanding a specific kind of silence from the rest of the world, a silence of non-interference. As we contemplate these deep-sea frontiers, we are reminded of the profound, often challenging choices we face in balancing our relentless pursuit of resources with the imperative to protect the immense, irreplaceable biological wealth of our blue planet. The ocean in its vast, silent wisdom continues to hold its treasures, waiting for us to decide how deeply we are willing to scar its ancient depths. Our journey now leads us to consider the ocean's naturally forbidden spaces, those shaped not by human hand, but by the raw, untamed forces of geology and biology. Naturally forbidden ecosystems, from the deep scars etched by human hands in the pursuit of resources, we now gently turn our awareness to realms where the ocean itself, through its raw, primordial power, creates spaces inherently forbidden to easy access. These are not zones delineated by legal decree or strategic intent, but by the overwhelming, untamed forces of geology and chemistry, shaping environments so extreme, so alien, that they redefine the very possibilities of life. We speak of the volcanic vents and hydrothermal wonders, the deep-sea oases that bloom in perpetual darkness, places where superheated toxic fluids erupt from the Earth's core, forging ecosystems unlike anything found on the sunlit surface. For millennia, humanity gazed upon the ocean's surface, believing that all life within its depths ultimately derived its energy from the sun, a light filtering down through the water column, nourishing the tiny phytoplankton that form the base of the food web. The deeper the water, the less light, the sparser the life, a logical progression into the silent, cold abyss. This understanding held sway for centuries, a comforting, if incomplete, scientific truth. Then in 1977, a profound discovery shattered this paradigm, reshaping our very comprehension of life on Earth, and indeed the potential for life across the cosmos. A team of scientists aboard the submersible Alvin exploring the Galapagos Rift, a segment of the East Pacific Rise, descended into the abyssal plain miles beneath the shimmering surface. They were searching for evidence of heat flow of cracks in the Earth's crust, where new oceanic crust was being formed. What they found instead was a landscape utterly astonishing, towering chimney-like structures, erupting plumes of superheated black water, and around these vents, a vibrant, teeming community of life. It was a world entirely divorced from the sun's energy, a naturally forbidden realm where existence was fueled by the very chemistry of the Earth itself. These extraordinary environments are inextricably linked to the grand slow-motion ballet of plate tectonics, the ceaseless movement of our planet's colossal lithospheric plates. Most hydrothermal vents are found along mid-ocean ridges, the vast submerged mountain ranges that girdle the Earth, marking the boundaries where oceanic plates are slowly pulling apart. Imagine the Earth's crust as a colossal, cracked eggshell, its pieces gently, inexorably drifting apart. As these plates separate, molten rock or magma wells up from the mantle below, creating new seafloor. This process, a slow geological breath, also creates fissures and cracks in the newly formed oceanic crust. It is through these fissures that the ocean story takes an extraordinary turn. Cold, dense seawater at temperatures near freezing seeps down into the newly formed fractured rock. As this water percolates deeper, it comes into close contact with the intensely hot magma chambers that lie just beneath the seabed. Here, under immense pressure, the water undergoes a dramatic transformation. It superheats far beyond its normal boiling point, at surface pressure reaching temperatures that can soar to over 400 degrees Celsius. This superheated water, now highly reactive and acidic, begins to strip minerals from the surrounding rock: iron, copper, zinc, sulfur. and other elements are dissolved, becoming suspended within the fluid. As this superheated, chemically altered water, now a potent brew of dissolved minerals, rises back through the crust, it encounters the cold, ambient deep-sea water. The sudden dramatic drop in temperature and pressure causes the dissolved minerals to precipitate out of the solution, forming fine, particulate clouds. When these particles are rich in iron sulfides, they create dense black plumes, resembling smoke billowing from a chimney. These are the iconic black smokers. Imagine a silent underwater volcano perpetually exhaling dark mineral-laden breath. Into the crushing darkness, the precipitation of these minerals slowly building the towering, intricate structures that can reach many meters in height, like Gothic spires forged from the very heart of the earth. Other vents with slightly lower temperatures and different mineral compositions might emit lighter, milky plumes, often rich in barium, calcium, and silicon. These are known as white smokers, gentle, ethereal exhalations in the deep. The conditions surrounding these vents are nothing short of astounding, creating a naturally forbidden zone for most forms of life, and indeed for direct human presence without the most advanced technology. The crushing pressure thousands of meters beneath the surface can exceed 300 atmospheres, enough to instantly flatten any unprotected organism or structure. The absolute darkness is profound, a perpetual night, where not a single photon of sunlight penetrates. And within mere centimeters, the temperature gradients are extreme, shifting from the scalding, superheated vent fluids to the near-freezing ambient deep-sea water, creating a turbulent, chemically volatile interface. But perhaps the most defining characteristic of these naturally forbidden ecosystems is their unique chemistry. The vent fluids are laden with compounds that would be highly toxic to most surface life, particularly hydrogen sulfide, a potent neurotoxin, as well as high concentrations of heavy metals, methane and carbon dioxide. The pH of these fluids can be highly acidic, corrosive enough to dissolve many common materials. It is a world of poison and fire, of darkness and crushing weight, utterly hostile to life as we generally know it. Yet, it is precisely these extreme chemical conditions that fuel the astonishing biodiversity found in these deep-sea oases. Here, life does not depend on photosynthesis, the capture of light energy, but on chemosynthesis, the capture of chemical energy. Microscopic bacteria and archaea, known as extremophiles, are the primary producers in these ecosystems. They thrive in the scorching temperatures and toxic chemical soup, performing a remarkable feat of biochemistry. They oxidize inorganic compounds, particularly hydrogen sulfide, to generate energy, much like plants use sunlight. This process creates organic matter, forming the very base of a food web that supports a vibrant, often bizarre array of larger organisms. Imagine these tiny, invisible architects of life, clinging to the vent chimneys, forming vast, shimmering mats on the rocks, or even living symbiotically within the bodies of larger animals. They are the silent, tireless engine of these naturally forbidden worlds, transforming the raw chemical energy of the earth into the very substance of life itself. Around these chemosynthetic powerhouses, an astonishing community of unique creatures congregates, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth. Perhaps the most iconic are the giant tube worms, Riftia pachyptila. These magnificent invertebrates can grow to over 2 meters in length, their brilliant red plumes waving gently in the vent fluids, encased in long, white, chitinous tubes. They possess no mouth, no gut, and no anus. Instead, they harbor billions of symbiotic bacteria within a specialized organ called a trophosome. These bacteria perform the chemosynthesis, converting the toxic hydrogen sulfide directly into food for their host in exchange for a protected environment. The red plumes, rich in hemoglobin, efficiently absorb oxygen and hydrogen sulfide from the water, delivering these vital chemicals to their internal bacterial partners, a profound and intricate partnership forged in the deep. Alongside the tube worm's vast clusters of giant white clams, Calyptogena magnifica, and mussels, Bathymodiolus thermophilus can be found their shells often encrusted with other vent organisms. These bivalves also host chemosynthetic bacteria within their gills, drawing nutrients directly from the vent fluids. Imagine these colossal mollusks, their shells gleaming faintly in the submersible's lights, filter feeding not on plankton, but on the chemical breath of the earth, a silent, slow processing of the elemental forces. Other inhabitants include ghostly white blind shrimp, Rhymicaris exoculata, often swarming in dense aggregations near the vent orifices, their bodies uniquely adapted to the extreme heat and chemistry. Scientists believe some species possess specialized organs on their backs that can detect the faint thermal radiation emitted by the superheated vent fluids, acting as a kind of internal infrared vision, guiding them through the darkness to their chemical sustenance. There are also strange pale crabs, some with hairy claws that graze on bacterial mats or scavenge for detritus, and unique species of octopuses and fish. Their bodies, often pale or translucent, adapted to the crushing pressure and eternal night. The very nature of these vent ecosystems is ephemeral, adding another layer to their forbidden and mysterious quality. Hydrothermal vents are not permanent features of the deep ocean floor. As the tectonic plates continue to spread, the magma chambers beneath the crust can shift, or the plumbing system that channels the superheated water can become clogged with mineral deposits. When this happens, a vent field can become inactive, cooling down and silencing its chemical exhalations. The vibrant communities that once thrived around it slowly begin to wane, their energy source gone, leaving behind only the silent, mineralized chimneys. However, life at these vents has adapted to this geological impermanence. Many vent species produce larvae that can drift for hundreds, even thousands of kilometers through the deep ocean currents, searching for new active vent fields to colonize. This remarkable dispersal strategy ensures the survival of these unique lineages, allowing them to constantly seek out new oases as old ones fade, a silent, continuous migration across the abyssal plains, following the invisible whispers of new volcanic activity. The scientific significance of hydrothermal vents extends far beyond their immediate ecological wonder. Some scientists theorize that the conditions found at these deep-sea vents, with their rich chemical soup and energy gradients, might have provided the ideal crucible for the very origin of life on Earth, offering a protected, stable environment away from the harsh radiation and impacts of the early planet. These vents also offer invaluable insights into astrobiology, the study of life beyond Earth. The discovery of thriving ecosystems in such extreme conditions has profoundly expanded our understanding of where life might exist in the universe, particularly on ocean moons like Europa, orbiting Jupiter, or Enceladus, orbiting Saturn, which are believed to harbor vast subsurface oceans warmed by internal geological activity. The extremophiles found at vents also hold immense potential for biotechnology, producing unique enzymes and compounds that can function under extreme temperatures and pressures, offering new avenues for industrial and medical applications. For humans, these volcanic vents remain naturally forbidden zones, their extreme conditions acting as an insurmountable barrier to direct, unprotected presence. Visiting these sites requires highly specialized, incredibly robust submersibles capable of withstanding the immense pressure and navigating the treacherous, superheated plumes. Even then, human interaction is limited to brief observation, careful sampling, and the deployment of robotic instruments. The fragility of these unique ecosystems also means that even scientific exploration must be conducted with the utmost care and respect, ensuring that our presence does not inadvertently disrupt the delicate balance of life that has thrived here for millions of years. As we gently contemplate these naturally forbidden realms, we are reminded of the Earth's profound hidden power, its capacity to create and sustain life in the most unexpected and challenging environments. The volcanic vents and hydrothermal wonders are a testament to the ocean's endless mysteries, a silent, glowing heartbeat in the deep beckoning us to understand, to protect, and to marvel at the extraordinary resilience and adaptability of life itself. Our journey now descends even further into the unfathomable depths of the trenches, where geological secrets are etched into the very fabric of the Earth. Unfathomable depths and their geological secrets, as our awareness gently drifts from the fire-kissed wonders of hydrothermal vents, where new crust is forged in a dance of heat and chemistry, we descend even further into the very deepest furrows of our planet's skin. These are the ocean trenches' colossal, elongated chasms that plunge to unfathomable depths far beyond the reach of sunlight, far beyond the ordinary boundaries of human comprehension. Here, the ocean does not merely cradle life. It becomes a silent witness to the Earth's most profound geological recycling, a slow, inexorable process that has shaped continents and driven the very engine of our world for billions of years. These are the trenches of time, naturally forbidden zones, where the immense crushing weight of water and the relentless grind of tectonic plates create an environment of ultimate extremity. The very existence of these trenches is a testament to the slow, majestic ballet of plate tectonics, the ceaseless movement of the Earth's colossal lithospheric plates. While mid-ocean ridges like the ones that host hydrothermal vents are sites where new oceanic crust is continuously generated, ocean trenches mark the opposite, equally vital process: subduction. Imagine two colossal, rigid plates of the Earth's outer shell moving towards each other with an almost imperceptible slowness, perhaps only a few centimeters each year, the speed at which a fingernail grows. When one oceanic plate, typically older and denser, collides with another oceanic plate or a lighter continental plate, it bends, buckles, and begins its long, silent descent back into the Earth's fiery mantle. This colossal down-folding of the oceanic crust creates a deep, V-shaped scar on the seabed, a profound furrow that is the ocean trench. Most of the world's deep-sea trenches are concentrated around the rim of the Pacific Ocean, forming what is known as the Ring of Fire, a zone of intense seismic and volcanic activity. This belt of geological unrest is a direct consequence of the continuous subduction occurring along its edges. The Mariana Trench, nestled in the western Pacific near the Mariana Islands, stands as the deepest known part of the Earth's oceans, and indeed the deepest point on the planet's surface. Its deepest point, Challenger Deep, plunges to approximately 11,000 meters, a staggering 7 miles beneath the shimmering surface. To put this into perspective, if Mount Everest, the highest peak on Earth, were placed at the bottom of the Challenger Deep, its summit would still be more than 2 kilometers beneath the waves swallowed by the sheer immensity of the water column above. The forces at play within these subduction zones are almost beyond human scale. As the oceanic plate descends, it grinds against the overriding plate, generating immense friction and colossal stresses. This friction is the primary cause of the most powerful earthquakes on Earth, some of which can trigger devastating tsunamis. The subducting plate carrying with it water and sediment slowly melts as it plunges deeper into the mantle, giving rise to chains of volcanoes on the overriding plate, forming the volcanic arcs that often parallel the trenches like a fiery crown above the silent, descending plate. The trenches are thus the visible manifestation of a profound, planet-shaping engine, a geological conveyor belt that relentlessly recycles the Earth's crust, keeping our planet geologically active and dynamic. The environment within these trenches is defined by a trinity of extremes: crushing pressure, absolute darkness, and near-freezing temperatures. The most immediate and overwhelming characteristic is the pressure. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the hydrostatic pressure exceeds 1,000 atmospheres, or 15,700 pounds per square inch. Imagine the weight of 50 jumbo jets pressing down on a single human thumb, or the entire weight of the Atlantic Ocean concentrated onto a single square inch. This is a pressure so immense that it compresses water itself, making it slightly denser, and profoundly alters the very chemistry and biology of anything within its grasp. Any conventional submersible without specialized engineering would be instantly imploded, reduced to a crumpled metallic scrap by this unimaginable force. The darkness is absolute and eternal. Not a single photon of sunlight, that life-giving energy from our star, can penetrate to these depths. The world here is one of perpetual night, where the only light is the occasional bioluminescent flash of a deep-sea creature or the powerful beams of a scientific submersible. This profound absence of light means that photosynthesis, the foundation of most life on Earth, is utterly impossible. And yet, despite the Earth's internal heat, the temperatures in the trenches are surprisingly stable and near freezing, typically ranging from 1 to 4 degrees Celsius. This is because the trenches are filled with cold, dense water that originates from the polar regions, slowly sinking and flowing along the abyssal plains and into these deep ravines. The immense volume of cold water effectively insulates the trench floor from the geothermal heat below, maintaining a consistent chilling embrace. Life in these naturally forbidden zones is a testament to the extraordinary adaptability and resilience of biological systems. This deepest part of the ocean, below 6,000 meters, is known as the Hadal Zone, named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. Organisms that thrive here are known as Hadal fauna, and they possess remarkable adaptations to survive the crushing pressure and scarcity of resources. Unlike the chemosynthetic oases of hydrothermal vents, most of the Hadal Zone relies on marine snow, a continuous gentle shower of organic detritus, dead plankton, and fecal pellets that slowly drifts down from the sunlit surface waters, sometimes taking weeks or months to reach these extreme depths. This makes the Hadal Zone largely oligotrophic, meaning food is scarce. Hadal fauna are often scavengers patiently awaiting the arrival of these precious scraps. One of the most iconic inhabitants of the Hadal Zone are the Hadal amphipods, small shrimp-like crustaceans that swarm in great numbers around bait deployed by submersibles. These creatures are true piezophile or pressure lovers, their bodies exquisitely adapted to the extreme conditions. Scientists believe their cell membranes and proteins are uniquely structured to maintain their integrity under immense pressure, preventing them from denaturing or collapsing. Some Hadal fish, like the Mariana snailfish Pseudoliparis swirae, are also found at astounding depths, their gelatinous soft bodies and lack of swim bladders allowing them to withstand pressure that would crush other vertebrates. They possess unique osmolytes molecules that protect their proteins from the pressure, essentially acting as an internal antifreeze and anti-crush agent. Many hadal organisms have slow metabolisms, growing slowly and living for extended periods, conserving energy in an environment where resources are precious. They often exhibit gigantism, growing larger than their shallower relatives, or dwarfism, becoming exceptionally small, both strategies for maximizing survival in resource-limited, high-pressure environments. Their bodies are typically soft and gelatinous, lacking air-filled spaces or rigid structures that would be vulnerable to the crushing weight. The exploration of these deep-sea trenches is arguably more challenging than space travel, making them truly forbidden zones for all but the most advanced and dedicated expeditions. Fewer people have descended to the Challenger Deep than have walked on the Moon. The engineering required to build a submersible capable of withstanding such immense pressure is extraordinary, pushing the boundaries of material science and mechanical design. The first human-occupied descent into the Challenger Deep occurred in 1960 with the bathyscaphe Trieste, piloted by Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh. This historic dive, a triumph of engineering and human courage, allowed them to spend a mere 20 minutes on the trench floor observing a flatfish-like creature before resurfacing. It was a fleeting glimpse into an utterly alien world. Over half a century later, in 2012, film director James Cameron made a solo dive to the Challenger Deep in his custom-built submersible Deep Sea Challenger, spending several hours exploring and collecting samples. More recently, in 2019, Victor Vescovo, in his submersible Limiting Factor, became the first person to repeatedly visit the Challenger Deep, demonstrating a new era of reliable deep ocean access. Each of these expeditions represents a monumental undertaking requiring years of planning, millions of dollars, and the combined expertise of engineers, scientists, and explorers. The sheer cost and technological complexity make these trenches naturally forbidden to all but a select few. Despite the immense difficulties, the scientific importance of these deep-sea trenches is immeasurable. They are the ultimate laboratories for studying extremophiles organisms that thrive under conditions once thought impossible for life. These discoveries broaden our understanding of life's fundamental limits and its potential to exist in similarly extreme environments elsewhere in the solar system, such as the subsurface oceans of icy moons. The unique enzymes and biochemical pathways of hadal fauna could also hold secrets for biotechnology and medicine, offering novel solutions to human challenges. Geologically, the trenches are crucial for understanding the Earth's internal dynamics. They provide direct insights into the processes of subduction, crustal recycling, and the generation of earthquakes and volcanoes. Scientists use remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, to map the trench floors, collect rock samples, and deploy seismic sensors, slowly piecing together the complex millennia-long story of our planet's restless interior. These deep scars are not merely passive features. They are active dynamic zones where the Earth is constantly remaking itself, a slow, powerful churn that impacts the entire planet. Even in these most remote and naturally forbidden realms, the silent, pervasive hand of human impact can be found. Disturbingly, scientific expeditions have discovered plastic waste, including microplastics, even at the very bottom of the Mariana Trench. This sobering discovery serves as a stark reminder that no corner of our planet, no matter how deep or remote, is truly immune to the pervasive reach of human pollution. The slow, inexorable descent of plastic debris accumulating in these deep geological traps leaves a silent, man-made scar on these ancient, naturally formed furrows. As we gently contemplate these trenches of time, we are filled with a profound sense of awe for the Earth's immense power, its capacity for both creation and destruction, and the extraordinary resilience of life. These unfathomable depths with their crushing pressures, eternal darkness and unique inhabitants remain naturally forbidden zones, beckoning us to understand their ancient secrets, while simultaneously humbling us with their sheer unyielding extremity. They are a quiet, powerful reminder of the vast, unexplored wonders that still lie hidden beneath the ocean's surface, waiting for us to listen to their ancient whispers. Our journey now leads us to consider the very life that persists in these isolated, restricted waters, exploring the biology of isolation. The biology of isolation in restricted waters. From the profound geological depths of the ocean trenches where the very crust of our planet is recycled in a slow, powerful churn, we now gently ascend not entirely to the sunlit surface, but to consider the extraordinary forms of life that persist and even flourish within all these varied, forbidden and restricted waters. The biology of isolation is a testament to life's ingenuity, its relentless drive to adapt to survive, and to evolve in environments that range from the utterly remote to the chemically hostile, from the crushing pressures of the abyssal plain to the relative barrenness of oceanic gyres. Here, beyond the familiar realm of light, life finds its own unique ways to whisper and thrive, sculpting itself to the contours of exclusion. The very concept of isolation in the ocean is multifaceted, creating distinct biological challenges and opportunities. For marine life, isolation can mean geographical separation, as exemplified by Point Nemo, where vast distances from land masses and nutrient-rich coastal waters create a nutrient desert. It can also mean physical barriers like the extreme pressures of the Hadal trenches or the superheated toxic plumes of hydrothermal vents. And sometimes isolation is imposed by human decree, as in military exclusion zones, which by preventing human activity inadvertently create sanctuaries where life can recover and flourish, albeit in a different kind of quietude. Let us first consider the vast open ocean, particularly the oligotrophic waters of the great oceanic gyres where Point Nemo resides. Here, the challenge for life is not extreme pressure or toxicity, but a profound scarcity of nutrients. The surface waters, constantly stirred by the slow rotating currents of the gyre, are largely cut off from the upwelling of nutrient-rich, deep waters and the terrestrial runoff that fertilizes coastal zones. Imagine a boundless, shimmering blue desert, where the very clarity of the water, while beautiful to human eyes, signifies a lack of the microscopic life that forms the base of the food web. In these nutrient-poor environments, marine organisms have evolved exquisite adaptations to survive. Phytoplankton. The microscopic plants of the ocean are typically smaller here, with higher surface area to volume ratios to maximize nutrient absorption from the sparse water. Some species form symbiotic relationships with nitrogen-fixing bacteria, allowing them to draw this essential nutrient directly from the atmosphere, a silent, unseen alliance in the vastness. Zooplankton, the tiny animals that graze on phytoplankton, are also sparse, often with slower metabolic rates, conserving energy in a world of scarcity. Larger animals such as pelagic fish, seabirds, and marine mammals that traverse these vast oligotrophic zones are often highly migratory, covering immense distances to find concentrated food sources. Think of albatrosses, those magnificent masters of the wind, gliding effortlessly for thousands of miles over these seemingly empty waters, their keen senses searching for the rare patch of feeding activity. Or the great whales, their massive bodies powered by the accumulated energy from distant, more productive feeding grounds, merely passing through these quiet, vast stretches on their long, ancient migrations. For these creatures, the isolation of the gyre is a transit zone, a challenge to be overcome rather than a place of permanent habitation. Now, let us delve back into the profound isolation of the deep sea beyond the reach of sunlight, where the very definition of life's energy source shifts. In these aphotic zones, the absence of light means an absence of photosynthesis, forcing life to rely on alternative energy pathways. As we explored with hydrothermal vents, chemosynthesis is a remarkable adaptation, allowing bacteria and archaea to derive energy from chemical reactions, forming the base of vibrant, localized ecosystems. These extremophiles thriving in superheated toxic fluids represent a profound biological isolation, creating entire communities that are genetically distinct and utterly dependent on the Earth's internal chemistry. Their existence challenges our sun-centric view of life, hinting at the vast, unexplored possibilities for biological existence within our own planet and beyond. In the Hadal trenches, the biology of isolation is dominated by the crushing pressure and the scarcity of food. Hadal fauna, such as the amphipods and snailfish we discussed, are exquisitely adapted. Piezophiles, their bodies and biochemistry specifically tuned to withstand and even thrive under immense hydrostatic pressure. Their cell membranes are more fluid, their proteins are protected by specialized molecules called piezolites, and their metabolic rates are often slower, conserving energy in an environment where every calorie is precious. The genetic isolation of these trench communities is also significant. While some species may have broad distributions across different trenches, many are endemic, found only in a single trench or a small cluster of trenches, leading to unique evolutionary pathways and a high degree of specialization. The physical barriers of the trench walls and the vast, inhospitable abyssal plains between them act as profound geographical isolators, fostering unique evolutionary trajectories. Consider the phenomenon of abyssal gigantism, where some deep-sea creatures grow to immense sizes compared to their shallower water relatives. The giant isopod, a colossal crustacean resembling an enormous woodlouse, or the giant squid, a legendary creature of the deep, are prime examples. Scientists believe this gigantism is an adaptation to the cold temperatures, high pressures, and scarcity of food in the deep sea. Larger body size can lead to greater energy efficiency, better ability to store reserves, and a greater capacity to travel long distances to find sparse food sources. It is a silent, slow growth, a patient accumulation of mass in a world where time seems to stretch endlessly. Conversely, some deep-sea organisms exhibit dwarfism, remaining small to minimize energy expenditure in resource-poor environments. These contrasting adaptations highlight the diverse strategies life employs to survive in isolation, a testament to the relentless creative power of natural selection. The military exclusion zones, while human-made, also create a unique form of biological isolation, often with paradoxical results. While these zones are established for strategic purposes, the very act of restricting human access, especially from commercial fishing shipping and coastal development, can inadvertently create de facto marine sanctuaries. In these areas, marine life can sometimes experience a quiet resurgence. Fish populations, no longer subjected to relentless fishing pressure, can grow larger, reproduce more successfully, and spill over into adjacent fished areas. Coral reefs freed from anchor damage or sediment runoff can begin to slowly recover and flourish. However, this biological isolation is often imperfect and comes with its own set of challenges. The legacy of military activities such as unexploded ordnance or chemical contamination from past testing can persist for decades, creating invisible hazards for marine life. The noise from active sonar or underwater explosions, while intermittent, can still disrupt sensitive marine mammals and other acoustically reliant species. So while human exclusion offers a certain respite, the scars of past or ongoing military activity can still cast a long, silent shadow over these waters. Yet within this unique form of restriction, life often finds a way to reclaim its space, a quiet, resilient assertion of nature's enduring power. The study of these isolated marine ecosystems provides invaluable insights into fundamental biological processes. Genetic analysis of species found in distinct deep-sea trenches, for example, reveals patterns of connectivity and divergence, showing how populations are related and how they have evolved independently over vast spans of geological time. Scientists can trace the evolutionary history of extremophiles, unraveling the biochemical pathways that allow them to thrive in conditions that would be lethal to most other organisms. This research not only deepens our understanding of life on Earth, but also informs the search for life beyond our planet, particularly on other celestial bodies with subsurface oceans. The very slowness of life in many of these isolated deep-sea environments is a profound biological adaptation. Many deep-sea creatures have incredibly long lifespans, growing and reproducing at a much slower pace than their shallow water counterparts. Deep-sea corals, for instance, can live for thousands of years, building vast, intricate structures over millennia. Each growth ring a silent testament to the passage of immense geological time. This slow, patient existence is a strategy for survival in environments where resources are scarce and opportunities for reproduction are infrequent. A quiet, unhurried rhythm, attuned to the deep. Even the unique adaptations for communication in these dark, isolated worlds are fascinating. Bioluminescence, the production of light by living organisms, is widespread in the deep sea, used for everything from attracting mates and luring prey to deterring predators and camouflaging against the faint light from above, counter-illumination. Imagine the silent, fleeting flashes of light, like tiny living stars punctuating the eternal darkness, each flicker a whispered message in the vast, cold void. This visual communication, coupled with chemical signaling and low-frequency sound production, creates a complex, often unseen web of interaction in these isolated realms. As we gently contemplate the biology of isolation in these forbidden ocean zones, we are left with a profound sense of wonder at life's boundless creativity. From the nutrient-starved surfaces of the gyres to the crushing, chemically charged depths of the trenches and vents, and even within the human-imposed quietude of military zones, life finds a way. It adapts, it evolves, it thrives, often in forms that challenge our conventional understanding, reminding us that the ocean is a realm of infinite possibilities, a silent, breathing testament to the enduring power of existence itself. The whispers of life in these isolated waters are a soothing lullaby, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest, most remote corners of our world, life persists in its own unique, beautiful way. Our journey now leads us to explore the submerged history held within these waters, the whispers of wrecks. Submerged history in protected and perilous zones. From the extraordinary adaptations of life thriving in the ocean's isolated realms, we now gently shift our focus to the silent, submerged echoes of human history, finding our way into a different kind of forbidden zone, the final resting places of shipwrecks and submerged cultural heritage. These sunken vessels, scattered across the ocean floor from coastal shallows to abyssal depths, are not merely piles of corroded metal and decaying wood. They are time capsules, silent witnesses to human ambition, conflict, tragedy, and exploration. Within protected and perilous zones alike, these whispers of wrecks hold stories, secrets, and sometimes enduring dangers, transforming stretches of the seabed into hallowed, often forbidden ground. For millennia, the ocean has been both a highway and a graveyard. From ancient trading vessels laden with amphorae and precious metals to colossal modern warships and passenger liners, countless human endeavors have met their end beneath the waves. Each shipwreck represents a singular moment, frozen in time, a sudden, often violent transition from the vibrant world of human activity to the silent, slow embrace of the deep. The very act of sinking transforms a vessel from a functional object into an archaeological site, a complex ecosystem, and often a sensitive memorial. The forbidden aspect of many shipwrecks arises from a confluence of factors: their historical and cultural significance, the potential for dangerous, unexploded ordnance, the presence of toxic cargo, or even the sheer depth and inaccessibility of their resting place. The protection of these submerged cultural heritage sites is a growing concern for nations and international bodies, leading to the creation of specific zones where human interference is strictly regulated or entirely prohibited. Imagine, if you will, the elegant yet tragic silhouette of the RMS Titanic lying nearly 4,000 meters deep in the frigid North Atlantic. Its discovery in 1985 sparked a global fascination, but also a fierce debate over its preservation. The Titanic is not merely a sunken ship. It is a global icon, a poignant memorial to over 1,500 souls lost in a single catastrophic night. Its resting place, an immense debris field scattered across miles of abyssal plain, is now protected under international agreement, designating it as a maritime memorial. Access is strictly controlled, requiring special permits for scientific research or observation, and prohibiting any salvage or intrusive exploration that would disturb its solemn integrity. The deep-sea currents here flow slowly, gently caressing the silent wreck, its grand staircase now a fragile rust-colored silhouette, its portholes gazing into an eternal night. The silence around the Titanic is not just the silence of the deep, but the respectful hush of a global graveyard. Beyond iconic disasters, countless other wrecks hold immense historical and archaeological value. Ancient Greek and Roman cargo ships, Viking longships, Spanish galleons laden with gold and silver, and World War II submarines each represents a unique chapter in human history, offering unparalleled insights into past technologies, trade routes, cultural practices, and conflicts. Many nations, recognizing the irreplaceable value of these submerged artifacts, have established underwater archaeological preserves or protected zones around known wreck sites within their territorial waters and exclusive economic zones. These zones are often marked by buoys or charted as restricted areas with strict prohibitions against unauthorized diving salvage or artifact removal. The goal is to preserve these sites in situ, allowing them to slowly yield their secrets to careful scientific study rather than being plundered for commercial gain. Imagine a Roman merchant vessel, its wooden hull, long since decayed, leaving behind only a ghostly outline of amphorae, their contents still preserving the faint scent of ancient wine or olive oil. Each piece a tangible link to a world long past. However, not all wrecks are protected for their historical value. Some are forbidden due to the inherent dangers they pose. Among the most perilous are the sunken warships, particularly those from the world wars, which often went down with their full complement of ammunition bombs and even chemical weapons. These are the silent ticking time bombs of the deep, their metallic hulls slowly corroding, threatening to release their deadly contents into the marine environment. Consider the numerous warships sunk during the Battle of Midway or the Battle of Guadalcanal in the Pacific. Many of these vessels still contain vast quantities of unexploded ordnance, from large caliber shells to torpedoes and depth charges. The slow, inexorable process of corrosion can compromise the stability of these munitions, making them incredibly dangerous. Any disturbance, even a slight shift in currents or an accidental impact, could trigger an explosion, posing a catastrophic risk to divers, submersibles, and the surrounding ecosystem. As a result, many of these sites are designated as military exclusion zones, or are simply too dangerous for any form of human approach, their secrets guarded by their own lethal potential. The water around them might shimmer with an unseen threat, a silent, volatile energy waiting to be unleashed. Even more insidious are the wrecks carrying toxic cargo, particularly those that went down with chemical weapons. During and after both World Wars, vast quantities of chemical munitions, including mustard gas and nerve agents, were deliberately scuttled in various ocean locations, often in deep water, in the mistaken belief that the ocean would safely dilute and contain them. These sites, now known as chemical weapons dump sites, are some of the most profoundly dangerous and truly forbidden zones in the ocean. The metal canisters containing these agents are slowly corroding, and scientists believe that leakage is already occurring in many areas. The released chemicals can poison marine life, contaminate sediments, and pose a severe long-term threat to human health if they ever reach fishing grounds or coastal areas. These areas are not only forbidden to entry, but are often unapproachable due to the sheer invisible danger they represent, a silent, slow-motion catastrophe unfolding in the deep. The deep ocean itself, with its crushing pressures and eternal darkness, acts as a natural barrier, rendering many wrecks inherently forbidden. Even with modern technology, reaching and exploring wrecks at abyssal depths remains an incredibly challenging and expensive undertaking, limiting access to highly specialized scientific and exploratory expeditions. The sheer cost and technological complexity mean that thousands of wrecks still lie undiscovered, their stories untold, their secrets held fast by the deep. These are the silent mysteries waiting patiently for a future generation with even more advanced tools to gently unveil their past. The study of shipwrecks, known as maritime archaeology, is a meticulous and painstaking discipline. Researchers use advanced sonar mapping, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, to survey wreck sites, creating detailed three-dimensional models without disturbing the delicate archaeological context. Every artifact, every structural detail, every piece of cargo tells a part of the story, slowly piecing together the narrative of the vessel, its crew, its journey, and its final moments. Imagine an ROV, its powerful lights piercing the darkness, its cameras carefully documenting the barnacle-encrusted remains of a cannon, or the delicate porcelain patterns of a long-lost dinner plate, each image a silent whisper from the past. The biological aspect of shipwrecks is also fascinating. Once a vessel sinks, it transforms into an artificial reef, providing new habitat for a variety of marine organisms. Corals, sponges, and anemones colonize its surfaces, while fish crabs and other invertebrates find shelter within its decaying structure. This transformation turns a human tragedy into a vibrant, if temporary, ecosystem, a silent, slow integration of human-made objects into the natural world. However, this biological colonization also contributes to the wreck's decay, as marine organisms actively break down its materials, slowly returning it to the elemental components from which it was forged. The ethical considerations surrounding shipwrecks are complex and often contentious. The debate over whether wrecks should be left undisturbed as memorials, protected as archaeological sites, or subjected to commercial salvage for their valuable cargo, continues. Many nations and international conventions, such as the UNESCO Convention on the Protection of the Underwater Cultural Heritage, advocate for the preservation in situ of significant wrecks, recognizing their universal value as part of our shared human story. This approach champions a respectful, non-intrusive form of exploration, viewing these silent witnesses of history as irreplaceable heritage rather than mere treasure troves. As we gently contemplate these whispers of wrecks, we are reminded of the profound connection between humanity and the ocean, a relationship that has shaped our history, propelled our explorations, and sometimes tragically ended our journeys. These submerged forbidden zones, whether protected for their solemn history or avoided for their enduring peril, serve as silent sentinels holding the echoes of the past within their cold, watery embrace. They are a powerful, poignant reminder that the ocean is not just a vast expanse of water, but a living archive, a deep, silent repository of human endeavors, triumphs, and sorrows. Our journey now leads us to explore the very technologies that allow us to peer into these forbidden realms, the watchful eyes above and below. The sentinel technologies, guarding the forbidden. From the silent, submerged echoes of human history, preserved in the cold embrace of shipwrecks, we now turn our gaze to the vigilant presence that watches over these forbidden realms, both natural and human-made. These are the sentinel technologies, the watchful eyes above and below the ocean's surface, constantly monitoring, detecting, and guarding the silent boundaries of restricted waters. In an ocean so vast, so often opaque to human sight, these sophisticated systems become the indispensable tools for enforcing prohibitions, conducting scientific observation, and maintaining the delicate balance between access and exclusion, transforming the unseen into the observed. The challenge of monitoring the ocean is immense. Its sheer scale, its dynamic nature, and its profound depths make traditional forms of surveillance incredibly difficult. Yet the imperative to protect marine ecosystems, enforce maritime laws, and safeguard national security in forbidden zones has driven the development of an intricate web of advanced technologies. These systems, often operating silently and autonomously, extend humanity's senses far beyond the limits of our natural perception, painting a continuous evolving picture of activity across the liquid world. One of the most pervasive and powerful tools for oceanic surveillance operates from the ultimate vantage point space. Satellites orbiting hundreds of kilometers above the Earth constantly sweep across the ocean's surface, their sophisticated sensors collecting a wealth of data. Synthetic aperture radar, or SAR satellites, are particularly adept at detecting vessels even in adverse weather conditions or at night. These instruments emit radar pulses and interpret the echoes, creating detailed images of the ocean's surface that can reveal the telltale signature of a ship, its wake, and even its size and speed. Imagine a silent, invisible beam sweeping across thousands of square miles of ocean, patiently searching for any unauthorized presence, its data instantly relayed to ground stations for analysis. Optical satellites equipped with powerful cameras can provide high-resolution visual imagery, identifying specific types of vessels, monitoring environmental changes within marine protected areas, or even detecting signs of illegal fishing, such as discarded fishing gear or the presence of specific colors associated with certain illicit activities. These eyes in the sky are invaluable for monitoring large remote areas, allowing authorities to track vessels entering or exiting forbidden zones, building patterns of activity that can reveal unauthorized incursions. They are the silent, ever-present guardians, their gaze encompassing vast stretches of forbidden waters. Complementing satellite surveillance are aerial patrols carried out by specialized aircraft and drones. These platforms can carry a variety of sensors, including radar, electro-optical cameras, and infrared systems, allowing them to conduct more localized, detailed surveillance of specific, restricted areas. Manned aircraft provide the flexibility to investigate suspicious activity more closely, while long-endurance drones can offer persistent, unblinking observation over critical zones, transmitting real-time video and data back to command centers. Imagine a drone, a silent, almost invisible presence in the sky, hovering patiently over a marine sanctuary, its cameras meticulously documenting every vessel, every movement, ensuring the sanctity of the protected waters below. Beneath the surface, the technologies guarding the forbidden zones become even more specialized, adapting to the unique challenges of the underwater environment. Sonar, the use of sound waves to detect objects and map the seabed, is a fundamental tool. Active sonar systems emit sound pulses and listen for the echoes, revealing the presence of submarines, underwater obstacles, or even the subtle contours of a sunken wreck. Passive sonar systems, on the other hand, silently listen for the sounds emitted by vessels, marine life, or geological activity, allowing for covert detection and tracking without revealing the presence of the listener. Large-scale arrays of hydrophones, underwater microphones, are often deployed in strategic locations, particularly around military exclusion zones or sensitive deep-sea research sites. These arrays can passively listen for the faint, distant hum of a submarine's propeller, the distinctive acoustic signature of a specific vessel, or the unique sounds of marine life, providing a continuous real-time acoustic picture of the underwater environment. Imagine a vast, invisible network of ears, silently listening to the deep, each hydrophone a tiny sentinel capturing the subtle whispers of the underwater world. Autonomous underwater vehicles, or AUVs, are increasingly becoming the workhorses of deep-sea surveillance and scientific exploration in forbidden zones. These robotic submersibles can be programmed to follow specific survey paths, collecting data on oceanographic conditions, mapping the seabed with high-resolution sonar, or inspecting critical infrastructure like pipelines in offshore resource extraction zones. They operate silently and independently for extended periods, descending to crushing depths and navigating complex underwater terrain, their sensors meticulously gathering information from realms too dangerous or too remote for human presence. Imagine a sleek, silent, torpedo-shaped robot gliding effortlessly through the eternal darkness, its sonar painting a detailed picture of an ancient wreck, or its chemical sensors detecting the faint signature of a leaking toxic dump. Remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, tethered to surface vessels by long cables, offer another critical capability. These highly maneuverable robots, controlled by human operators, can perform intricate tasks at great depths, from collecting delicate samples in hydrothermal vent fields to inspecting the structural integrity of deep-sea oil rigs, or even meticulously documenting archaeological sites on the seabed. Their powerful lights pierce the darkness, their high-definition cameras transmit stunning real-time imagery, and their dexterous manipulators can perform precise operations, allowing human minds to interact with the deepest, most forbidden environments without ever leaving the surface. In military exclusion zones, these underwater technologies are paramount for tracking and deterring unauthorized incursions. Submarines themselves, equipped with advanced sonar and other stealth technologies, act as silent, invisible sentinels, patrolling their designated operational areas. Unmanned underwater vehicles, UVs, both autonomous and remotely operated, are also being developed for reconnaissance, mine countermeasures, and even defensive roles, extending the reach of naval forces into the deepest, most challenging parts of the ocean. For marine protected areas, these sentinel technologies are vital for enforcement and ecological monitoring. AUVs can conduct biodiversity surveys tracking fish populations and habitat health over time, providing critical data for conservation management. Acoustic monitoring systems can listen for the presence of protected marine mammals, helping to ensure that shipping or other activities do not disturb their critical habitats. Satellite imagery can detect illegal fishing vessels, allowing rapid response from patrol boats. These technologies transform vast, seemingly empty protected zones into observable, manageable spaces, ensuring that the pledges of conservation are upheld. Even in the context of deep-sea resource extraction, these technologies play a crucial guarding role. ROVs are routinely used to inspect offshore oil and gas pipelines for leaks or damage, ensuring the environmental integrity of these industrial frontiers. Seismic monitoring systems detect potential geological instability around drilling sites, providing early warnings of risks. These tools are the silent guardians of infrastructure, ensuring safety and preventing environmental catastrophes in zones dedicated to resource harvesting. The sheer volume of data generated by these sentinel technologies is immense, requiring sophisticated data analysis and artificial intelligence to interpret and make sense of it all. Machine learning algorithms can sift through vast datasets of satellite imagery to identify patterns of illegal fishing or analyze acoustic signatures to distinguish between different types of vessels or marine mammals. This constant automated vigilance transforms raw data into actionable intelligence, allowing authorities to respond effectively to threats or changes in these forbidden zones. As we drift towards a deeper understanding of these watchful eyes both above and below, we acknowledge the profound impact of technology on our relationship with the ocean. These sentinel systems represent humanity's relentless drive to understand, to control, and to protect the vast, silent world beneath the waves. They are the invisible threads connecting us to the most remote corners of our blue planet, allowing us to peer into its deepest secrets and to guard its most vulnerable places. The quiet hum of their operations, the silent sweep of their sensors is a continuous lullaby, a testament to our ongoing quest to comprehend and safeguard the immense breathing entity that is our ocean. Our journey now leads us to consider how these forbidden zones might evolve in the face of new discoveries and the profound challenges of a changing climate. Climate change, new discoveries and tomorrow's restricted seas. From the vigilant gaze of our sentinel technologies ceaselessly scanning the ocean's surface and probing its deepest reaches, we now turn our awareness to the very fabric of the ocean itself, which is not a static entity but a dynamic breathing system in constant flux. The map of our world's oceans, with its meticulously drawn lines of jurisdiction and its silently guarded forbidden zones, is itself an evolving document, constantly reshaped by the profound forces of climate change. The quiet revelations of new scientific discoveries and the shifting tides of human endeavor. Tomorrow's restricted seas are being born today, shaped by the slow, inexorable processes of our planet and the relentless curiosity of humankind. Perhaps the most profound and far-reaching force reshaping the ocean, and consequently the contours of its forbidden realms, is the slow, pervasive hand of climate change. The silent warming of our planet, driven by the increasing concentration of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, is orchestrating a fundamental transformation of the marine environment. This transformation manifests in myriad ways, each ripple creating new challenges and necessities for oceanic governance and protection. Consider the vast ancient ice caps of our polar regions, particularly the Arctic. For millennia, these colossal sheets of ice have acted as natural, impenetrable barriers, rendering vast swathes of the Northern Ocean inherently forbidden to all but the most specialized ice-breaking vessels. This frozen expanse has silently guarded unique ecosystems and acted as a formidable deterrent to human activity. But now, under the influence of a warming climate, this ancient ice is in a slow, relentless retreat. The multi-year ice, thick and resilient, is thinning, fracturing and melting at an accelerating pace, revealing previously inaccessible waterways. As the Arctic ice recedes, new shipping routes such as the fabled Northwest Passage and the Northern Sea Route are becoming increasingly viable for longer periods each year. This opening of new maritime arteries brings with it a complex interplay of opportunity and risk. Nations bordering the Arctic, suddenly finding themselves at the crossroads of new global trade routes, are asserting their claims, delineating new territorial boundaries, and establishing new zones of control. This often involves the creation of new shipping lanes requiring strict navigation rules to prevent accidents in still treacherous waters, or the designation of ecologically sensitive areas as new marine protected zones to safeguard vulnerable Arctic ecosystems from increased traffic and potential pollution. Imagine the silent, slow unraveling of a colossal frozen tapestry, revealing beneath it a dynamic liquid frontier demanding new rules, new patrols, and new forms of protection. The very definition of forbidden in the Arctic is shifting from nature's icy embrace to human-imposed regulations designed to manage a newly accessible wilderness. Beyond the melting ice, the broader warming of the ocean itself is causing profound ecological shifts. Marine species accustomed to specific temperature ranges are migrating towards cooler waters, often moving poleward or seeking refuge in deeper, colder currents. This silent, widespread migration means that existing marine protected areas meticulously designed to protect specific habitats or species in their historical locations may become less effective over time. A coral reef, MPA, for instance, established to protect a thriving ecosystem, might find its corals bleaching and dying as water temperatures consistently exceed their tolerance thresholds, while the species it was designed to protect move beyond its boundaries. This necessitates a rethinking of conservation strategies, potentially leading to the designation of new, dynamic protected areas that can adapt to the shifting distributions of marine life, an evolving, flexible map of sanctuaries. Ocean acidification, another insidious consequence of increased atmospheric carbon dioxide, is also silently altering the ocean's chemistry. As the ocean absorbs more CO2, its pH decreases, making it more acidic. This change directly impacts marine organisms that build shells and skeletons from calcium carbonate, such as corals, shellfish, and pteropods, tiny free-swimming snails that are a crucial food source for many species. Their ability to form and maintain their calcium structures is compromised, threatening entire food webs. This widespread chemical stress might necessitate the creation of new, highly restricted zones focused on protecting particularly vulnerable, calcifying organisms, or areas where natural buffering mechanisms offer some resilience, allowing scientists to study their survival in a changing ocean. New scientific discoveries also play a pivotal role in shaping the evolving map of restricted seas. Despite centuries of exploration, vast expanses of our ocean, particularly the deep sea, remain largely unexplored. With advanced remotely operated vehicles and autonomous underwater vehicles, scientists are continuously pushing the boundaries of discovery, revealing previously unknown ecosystems, species, and geological features. Each new discovery often brings with it a compelling argument for protection. Imagine a silent, methodical AUV, its powerful lights piercing the eternal darkness of the abyssal plain, suddenly encountering a previously unknown field of cold seeps areas, where methane and sulfide-rich fluids slowly seep from the seabed, supporting unique chemosynthetic communities. Or perhaps a previously uncharted seamount rising thousands of meters from the deep, its slopes teeming with delicate, slow-growing deep-sea corals and sponges, hosting a myriad of endemic species found nowhere else on Earth. These discoveries, often made in international waters beyond national jurisdiction, immediately raise questions about their conservation. Scientists believe that many such biodiversity hotspots exist silently, awaiting discovery. The process of designating these newly found wonders as marine protected areas in the high seas is complex, requiring international cooperation and often lengthy diplomatic negotiations. But it is a necessary step to safeguard these unique, irreplaceable treasures for future generations. Each new revelation from the deep adds another potential dot to the evolving map of protected and thus restricted ocean zones. The future of resource extraction also promises to redraw the lines of forbidden seas. As terrestrial mineral reserves dwindle and the global demand for critical metals for green technologies continues to soar, the deep seabed is increasingly viewed as the next great frontier for mining. From polymetallic nodules scattered across abyssal plains to polymetallic sulfides around hydrothermal vents and cobalt-rich crusts on seamounts, these deep-sea mineral deposits are attracting intense interest. Should commercial deep-sea mining proceed on a large scale, vast areas of the international seabed would be allocated as exclusive mining zones under the governance of the International Seabed Authority. These would become new categories of industrial forbidden zones where only the licensed mining contractors would have access to the seabed, and other activities would be strictly prohibited to prevent interference with operations. This potential land rush in the deep ocean presents a profound challenge for environmental governance, requiring careful consideration of the long-term ecological impacts and the establishment of robust regulatory frameworks to ensure that these new industrial frontiers do not leave irreparable scars on the deep. Furthermore, the growing global push for renewable energy is leading to the expansion of offshore wind farms, wave energy converters, and other marine renewable energy installations. These large-scale infrastructure projects, often spanning many square kilometers, require the establishment of safety and operational exclusion zones around them. Vessels are prohibited from entering these areas to prevent collisions with turbines or other structures, to ensure the safety of maintenance crews, and to protect sensitive undersea cables. These emerging energy frontiers are creating new, often localized forbidden zones in coastal and offshore waters, adding another layer to the intricate mosaic of restricted access. Geopolitical shifts and evolving strategic interests also continue to influence the creation and modification of military exclusion zones. As global powers vie for influence, as new technologies emerge, and as the strategic landscape of the Arctic opens up, naval forces may expand or reconfigure their training areas, testing ranges, and operational zones. The silent assertion of national sovereignty and defense capabilities will continue to shape specific areas of the ocean into realms of restricted access, reflecting the ongoing complexities of international relations. The evolving map of tomorrow's restricted seas is thus a dynamic interplay of scientific discovery, environmental imperative, economic ambition, and geopolitical strategy. It highlights the urgent need for robust international cooperation and adaptive governance, Agreements like the recent Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction BBNJ Treaty, which aims to protect marine life in the high seas, represent monumental steps towards creating new, internationally recognized protected areas in regions that were once considered global commons subject to minimal regulation. This slow, deliberate process of international lawmaking, often spanning decades, is gradually weaving a denser, more protective network across the vast, open ocean. As we gently contemplate these future horizons, we are reminded that the ocean in its immense capacity continues to hold both profound mysteries and immense responsibilities. The silent changes wrought by climate, the quiet revelations from the deep, and the relentless march of human innovation are constantly redrawing the lines of what is accessible, what is protected, and what remains forbidden. The evolving map is not just a scientific chart. It is a reflection of our collective choices, a testament to our growing understanding of the ocean's vital role, and a quiet call to conscious stewardship. The journey into these future seas is a gentle, unfolding story, a promise of continued discovery and the enduring need for careful, respectful guardianship. We now drift towards the final reflections connecting these immense oceanic mysteries to the gentle embrace of our own dreams. The allure of the unseen and the ocean's gentle mysteries. As the map of our ocean continuously reshapes, influenced by the silent retreat of ice, the subtle shifts of chemistry, and the relentless march of human endeavor, we find ourselves drawn to a deeper, more profound contemplation of the ocean's enduring allure. The forbidden zones we have gently explored, from the profound solitude of Point Nemo to the strategic silences of military realms, the vibrant sanctuaries of marine protected areas, the scarred frontiers of resource extraction, the fiery wonders of hydrothermal vents, and the crushing depths of the trenches, all whisper of a fundamental truth. Much of our planet's liquid heart remains unseen, unknown, and deeply mysterious. It is this very unseen quality, this vast, uncharted territory, that holds a unique power over the human imagination, inviting us to dream the deep. The allure of the unseen ocean is ancient, woven into the very fabric of human consciousness. Before the advent of modern submersibles and satellite technologies, the deep sea was a realm of pure speculation, populated by mythical beasts and unfathomable forces. Even now, with our advanced instruments, the sheer scale of the ocean's unexplored volume remains staggering. Scientists estimate that over 80% of the ocean, particularly its deep and abyssal zones, remains unmapped in detail. Its biodiversity largely unknown, its geological processes only partially understood. Imagine this vast liquid darkness stretching across continents, plunging miles beneath the surface, a silent, breathing entity, holding secrets that have patiently awaited discovery for eons. It is this profound unknown that captivates us, drawing our minds into its quiet depths, much like the gentle current draws a drifting leaf. The ocean, in its immense capacity, becomes a mirror for our own inner worlds, especially as we prepare to surrender to the embrace of sleep. The rhythmic ebb and flow of the tides, the ceaseless whisper of waves against distant shores, the vast, unbroken horizon. These elemental rhythms resonate deeply within us, evoking a sense of profound peace and boundless possibility. The concept of restricted waters, whether by nature's design or human decree, paradoxically amplifies this allure. What lies within those forbidden perimeters? What pristine ecosystems flourish untouched by human presence? What ancient geological processes unfold unobserved? These questions, unanswered and perhaps unanswerable, allow the mind to wander freely, to construct its own narratives within the vast, silent canvas of the deep. Consider the biological mysteries that still abound in these isolated, restricted realms. Even in well-studied areas, new species are constantly being discovered, each revealing another facet of life's extraordinary adaptability. In the abyssal plains beneath the silent drift of marine snow, scientists occasionally stumble upon creatures that defy easy classification. Their forms alien and exquisite, perfectly evolved for their extreme environments. The deep ocean in its gentle, unhurried way continues to unveil its inhabitants, each one a testament to the endless creativity of evolution. These discoveries remind us that even within the most extreme conditions, life finds a way to whisper and thrive, a comforting thought as we drift into our own states of quietude. The geological processes unfolding in the trenches and around the vents are equally mysterious, a slow, powerful churn that has shaped our planet for billions of years. The precise mechanisms of subduction, the intricate plumbing systems of hydrothermal vents, the long-term impacts of deep-sea resource extraction. These are all areas of ongoing scientific inquiry where each new piece of data adds to a constantly evolving picture. The ocean in its deep, patient wisdom continues to guard its geological secrets, revealing them only slowly, fragment by fragment, to our persistent curiosity. It is a slow, unfolding narrative, a story told in the language of rock and water pressure and heat. The very act of contemplating these unseen ocean zones, these realms of silence and deep mystery, can be profoundly calming. The vastness of the ocean puts our daily concerns into perspective, shrinking them against the backdrop of geological time and planetary scale. The gentle, slow pace of deep-sea processes, the quiet persistence of life in extreme environments, the unhurried unfolding of natural phenomena, all contribute to a sense of tranquility, inviting the mind to release its grasp on the immediate and to simply be within the embrace of something far larger, far older, and infinitely more peaceful. As our awareness softens and our thoughts begin to gently drift, we can allow the image of the ocean in all its mysterious grandeur to settle within our minds. Picture the silent, slow currents moving across vast, unseen plains. Imagine the gentle sway of deep-sea corals, their delicate forms illuminated by the faint, bioluminescent flashes of unseen creatures. Feel the immense yet comforting weight of the water, a boundless blanket stretching across the planet. The ocean, in its profound quietude, becomes a gateway to our own inner depths, a calm, expansive space where the mind can truly rest. The gentle mysteries of the ocean, those places where no one is allowed those depths, where the light never reaches those zones, where time itself seems to slow, they are not just physical locations on a map. They are also metaphors for the unexplored territories within ourselves, the quiet, secret places of imagination and dreams. As we prepare to journey into the landscape of sleep, we carry with us the tranquil image of the deep, a vast, silent world, continuously unfolding its wonders, each whisper of its unknown depths, a soft invitation to profound rest. The ocean's gentle mysteries continue to hold their secrets patiently, awaiting the quiet exploration of our dreaming minds. And so, as we drift away from the mesmerizing silent boundaries of the ocean's forbidden zones, feel the gentle rhythmic pull of the world, slowing around you much like the turning of the tides or the soft descent of the sun below the horizon, painting the sky with the last fading colors of the day. Just as the deep ocean holds its profound, unseen mysteries, inviting our minds to ponder its vast, unexplored depths, so too does the quiet realm of sleep beckon us into its own uncharted territories, a personal, peaceful, forbidden zone where the mind is free to wander, without the constraints of the waking world, finding solace in its boundless, unhurried expanse. Allow yourself to sink deeper now into this tranquil space, releasing every lingering thought, every gentle worry, letting them dissipate like ripples on a calm surface. Feel the profound stillness settle within you, a quietude as deep and ancient as the ocean itself. May the ocean's deepest, most undisturbed currents gently cradle your consciousness, guiding you softly into the boundless, serene embrace of your most profound and restorative dreams, where all is calm and all is at peace. Sleep well, goodbye, and see you again.